The Hells Angels have become one of the most notorious motorcycle clubs in the world. It might seem like a close-knit group of people who operate like a recreational club, but beneath all that lies dark secrets. Murder, sexual assault, arson, violence, organised crime, and the Hells Angels have been involved in everything. In this video, we will see the shocking reactions of members of the Hells Angels when they were awarded life sentences. Number 6. Adam Lee Hall. Adam Lee Hall was one of the darkest members of the Hells Angels. He was one of the 3 members who faced charges in the deaths of 3 people out of Berkshire County in August 2011. The main victim, David Glasser, was supposed to testify against Hall, but just before that, he disappeared. Prosecutors revealed during the proceedings that Hall was a ranking member of the local Hells Angels chapter. He, along with David Shaw and Case Vias, abducted Glasser and a few other people and killed him. All of them were found dismembered around 2 weeks after they disappeared. The judge sentenced Adam Lee Hall to 3 consecutive life terms. Additionally, 12 to 15 years in prison were sentenced for armed robbery and 8 to 10 years in prison were awarded for kidnapping. During the trial, he did not show any signs of remorse, and the families of victims said they thought Adam deserved the strictest punishment for his crimes and shocking brutality. Number 5. Joseph Lancia. Joseph Lancia, the president of the Hells Angels in Rhode Island, changed his plea after reaching a deal with the prosecutors and was sentenced to serve 5 years in prison. Lancia, 30 years old, of Smithfield, appeared in Providence Superior Court, along with about a dozen members of the motorcycle club wearing their full patch jackets for the hearing before Associate Justice Kristen Rogers. Lancia pleaded no contest to the charge of felony and battery, as well as carrying a gun without a licence. The more serious charges of discharging a firearm when committing a crime of violence invasion with the intent of murder were dismissed as part of the deal. Lancia returned to court to turn himself in so he could begin his sentence at the adult correctional institutions in Cranston, along with the 5 years in prison. He will also be on probation for 10 years. The main case in Lancia comes from a June 2019 incident when police said he fired a gun at a truck driven by Richard Starnino, who had a debate with Lancia regarding him joining the Hells Angels. Video surveillance footage shows that Lancia opened fire on Starnino as he was driving past Hells Angels clubhouse. If all charges were to be taken, Lancia faced a sentence of 61 years in prison. Number 4. Richard DeVry and his gang. The judge ordered the leader of the Las Vegas chapter of the Hells Angels to be taken into custody on upgraded charges of racketeering and other offences connected to the shooting of 6 people in a Las Vegas area highway. The shooting took place allegedly between rival outlaw motorcycle gangs, the Hells Angels and Vargos. Richard DeVry, who is 67 years old, had already posted $75,000 of bail money in June connected to the May shooting at the US 95. Judge Tierra Jones ordered him to post $250,000 in court on new charges connected to a superseding indictment. 7 of 8 Hells Angels members or affiliates faced more than 30 years of conspiracy to commit fatal harm, further or assisting a criminal gang, battery or racketeering charges, among others. The prosecution marked that there is a concern that there are retaliatory shootings going back and forth between these 2 rival gangs. Richard DeVry and his gang prospect Stephen Allo, who is aged 46 years old, and Russell Smith, 26 years old, already faced charges including attempted murder for the Memorial Day shooting that effectively blockaded the major freeway outside of Las Vegas. The bikers were part of the Memorial Day weekend ride through Arizona and southern Nevada. Number 3. Maurice Boucher. Maurice Boucher was a notorious crime boss in Quebec and the leader of the Hells Angels. He was at the peak of his powers as a Hells Angel and was considered the most intimidating crime boss in Quebec. In May 2002, Boucher was imprisoned for several crimes, including 2 counts of first-degree charges, attempted slaying, and conspiracy to commit a slaying. Boucher was serving a life sentence for the 1997 slaying of prison guards Pierre Rondeau and Diane Levine during a period of gang violence in Quebec known as the Bikers' War. The 1995 slaying of an 11-year-old Montreal boy, Daniel DeRocha, who died in an explosion linked to the biker wars, sparked widespread public indignation and led to numerous arrests of members of biker gangs across the province. Maurice Boucher died at the age of 69. He suffered from throat cancer and had refused treatment for the disease for months. He was recently transferred from his super maximum security facility to another on the same property that could provide palliative care. Boucher eventually passed away from natural causes. Number 2. Jay Witt. Jay Witt, a member of the Hells Angels motorcycle gang, has been convicted of the slaying of a fellow member. Witt, 48, was charged with manslaughter in the death of William Furlong, who was found lifeless at a Nebraska Hells Angels clubhouse on July 14, 2013. Authorities said Furlong passed away from a single gunshot wound. Witt was sentenced to 30 to 40 years behind bars. The testimony in court detailed surveillance video that put Witt at the centre of the crime when the slaying happened. According to a detective who testified, surveillance video outside the clubhouse shows a man believed to be Witt and his girlfriend enter around 2:15 a.m. Furlong shows up just before 5 a.m. The video shows the man believed to be Witt and the woman leaves around 9:30 a.m. with a plastic bag. The detective testified the man was seen wiping down the door and door handles with towels before leaving in a Chevy Cruze with Virginia license plates. Prosecutors said Furlong and Witt had been fighting before. Witt shot Furlong. Authorities allege Witt then trashed the clubhouse to make it appear as though a rival gang was responsible. In August, Witt pleaded guilty to the charges against him, and prosecutors dropped the slaying charge. The charge was changed to manslaughter, which came down as a guilty conviction. The charges are one of a handful of incidences going against the Hells Angels in recent years. Shooting incidences, drug dealings and gang warfare have led to several arrests all across the world in the last few months. Jay Witt is no longer a member of the Hells Angels and will be eligible for parole after he served 7.5 years of his 30 to 40 year sentence in Nebraska. Number 1. Jonathan Nelson. Jonathan Nelson, also known as John John, a member of the Sonoma County Charter of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, has been found guilty of murder in aid of racketeering. Nelson, along with 2 other members, Brian Wayne Wendt and Russell Taylor Ott, was convicted after a 9-week trial before United States District Judge Edward M. Chen. The trial revealed that they were involved in a criminal enterprise that committed a wide range of violent crimes, including murder, assault, robbery, witness, intimidation, and extortion. US Attorney Stephanie M. Hines stated that the verdicts resulted from a lengthy and intensive investigation and warned other similar criminal businesses that such violent activities would not be tolerated. The guilty finding was made possible by the significant skills and resources offered by numerous agency partners, including the California Highway Patrol and the Santa Rosa Police Department, said Special Agent in Charge Sean Reagan of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The trial focused on the murder of former Hells Angels Sonoma County member Joel Silva, which the prosecution alleged was orchestrated by Nelson, Wendt and Ott. Silva was causing problems for Hells Angels Sonoma County for various reasons, and the defendants believed he needed to be killed. Nelson, who was leading the Hells Angels Sonoma County, then made plans to have Silva killed in Fresno with Ott, a long-serving member who was friendly with Silva's family. Ott transported Silva to Fresno, where Wendt shot him in the head at the Fresno Hells Angels clubhouse. Silva's body was then burnt. The trial's evidence also demonstrated Hells Angels Sonoma County's involvement in witness intimidation, extortion, drug trafficking and robbery. Witnesses claimed that the group had a reputation for threatening anyone who reported their activity to the authorities. Additionally, evidence showed that the defendants threatened the lives of witnesses and their families to dissuade them from cooperating with law enforcement. All 3 defendants were found guilty of participating in a conspiracy involving racketeer-influenced corrupt organisations and a conspiracy to murder in furtherance of racketeering. Nelson was also found guilty of using or possessing a firearm in connection with a violence defence, and assault with a dangerous weapon in aid of racketeering. They were sentenced to mandatory life terms in jail, restitution, fines, and forfeitures. They remained unmoved even after their fate was communicated to them. If you like this video, then hit the like button, subscribe for more such videos, and press the bell icon to never miss another video.